What's another one?
Another one that I had is no one's perfect.
Okay.
And Skye was so easy in so many ways. I remember starting, going through puppy kindergarten and then going into beginners class, and I really was blown away by how easy she was to work with.
The angel.
The angel.
Everybody called her the angel.
And, she just did what you wanted her to do. She followed, Tracker was the bad boy, and she's like, not me, not me, not me. But the part about no one's perfect, I remember getting a text message from you at school with, I'm so mad at Skye. She crawled under the deck and you were dressed for work, and she burrowed under the deck and
she disappeared. And Tracker was out there barking, carrying on. And I couldn't find her. And I'm like, I have to leave. And oh my God, what am I going to do?
She was under the deck.
She was stuck under the deck.
All muddy.
I'll have to pull that. I have a picture of that. I still have a picture of her peeking out, underneath there, like
with her grin.
What? And I'm going, oh my God, I had to like dig out some of the dirt because she got in, but she wasn't able to get out by herself.
So then we had to fix that because then she was obsessed over that.
She would have had her litter in there. Or something.
She tried. She wanted to.
Right.
And another time when our pet sitter sent us a picture of not so perfect Skye, the lilac bush out in the yard, and they used to like to run around that. Mm-hmm. And it had rained, and Janice sent a picture.
I have a picture of that
you do,
she's standing.
She's standing up to her elbows in mud water, just standing there like, look what I did, and that perfect, little angel,
not perfect.
Not so perfect. And luckily Janice was good, and she laughed and said, look what's perfect Skye. So the not so perfect, she really,
nobody's perfect, but perfect in their own way.
Yes. So, and it was hard to be, upset with her, because she would she had pull her grin, and be like, yeah, you love me.
It's like, you'll get over it pretty soon.
Yes. So those were some examples about the not so perfect Skye that,
I have a little bit different take on that, and it was my number one that always when I think about Skye, is be yourself. Be who you are, and we had to learn that very quickly when we got Tracker and then Skye about 5 months later, 6 months later, that the two of them were not going to be the same. He was destined for a path that everyone knew and told us about, becoming a champion. Of course, he went on to really excel and become a top 20 dog, and where we thought that she would be the same, kind of naively, not understanding that how different they were going to be, and how quickly she let us know that she did not like confirmation. She thought it was stupid to run around a ring, and Tracker was like, what do you mean? This is great. You get the spotlight on you. And she's like, yeah, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
And that there were, some things that got in the way of her showing in the beginning as a puppy, but she tried, and it's just it was clear. And that we had to change our attitudes. I had to change my, perspective and expectation, and really force me to look at her and find the differences that were unique to her. Mm-hmm. And that became such a wonderful thing over all the years, because she contributed so much to, our breeding program and our lives, and lots of people's lives, because we shifted to support her in being herself. And she just, she equaled Tracker in his huge success in such a different way that it's almost like it overshadowed him in my mind, because it was a lesson that was learned that was very dear, to me over all these years. And I think really has helped me in our puppy matching with people and really understanding the differences between the dogs. But further than that is how you nurture and support it, and that you have to change your mind, and you can't it's not going to be in the best interest of the dog if you try to make it into something that it's not. Yeah. And if we flipped it and said to try to do the same with Tracker or what we did with Skye, he wouldn't have been happy either. No. So number one is be yourself, and that's the path that you choose.
That's cool, because mine's actually a twist on that. Yeah. Mine's do it your own way.
Okay.
So it really is, that she's doing it her way. And there was no encouraging in that she wasn't going to do it in her way either. And, I have some very distinct memories of some of these things. And the first one that really stands out the most is when Skye and I were competing to get her novice obedience title, and down in Maryland. And I didn't want you there because she would be looking for you. It was a distraction. Yep. And we had prepared, and so she needed her last leg for that title. And we were doing, that was when they did the long sits and downs when you had to stand across the ring. Right. So we had done such a great job, and we were doing the sits and downs, and Skye had to sit in between this beautiful giant Doberman Pinscher with a lovely, lovely man who was his owner, and this giant German Shepherd, both males. And the first is the sit, and I'm across the ring and standing there, and Skye is looking at me with this, what did you do to me? I could just tell she was mortified that, who are these beside me? Yeah. And then the down for 3 minutes, and she normally would close her eyes, just kind of rest for 3 minutes. And she glared at me across that ring, and I was like, oh man, just stay there. And she did. And then it couldn't have been over. We had a tie. So at that time we had to do a healing pattern runoff. And Skye, we waited to our turn, and Skye looked at me like, I am not doing this again. So we get into the ring, and she's sitting beside me, and the judge says, forward. And I call Skye to go forward, and she waits until I'm about 6 feet ahead of her, and then decides, okay, I'm going to go now. Well, she completed that pattern perfectly 6 feet behind me. And the judge was looking at me going, this is almost too funny. She's doing really great, but she's mad at you. And I really wish that would have been on camera, because it would have been hysterical. Of course, I'm mortified, how can this happen? Well, we didn't win the runoff, so we didn't get the first place, but that's okay. And I learned my lesson there, that Skye's going to do it her way. She knew what to do, but she was going to make me pay for that. The other one, in doing it your own way, dock diving.
Which a lot of people know about this.
Everybody knows Skye.
A reputation in the dock diving community.
Skye would go. She swam in our pool. She jumped. She had her own way to do it. And she was just the joy on her face. But dock diving, she would jump between 6 feet, 6.5 feet, and that was it. Yep. I'm going no farther. This is my spot. I run, I stop, I jump. No matter what training, no matter how far I threw her toy, no matter any encouragement, she would run, jump.
Yep.
We're going to be looking for our try it dog. And it was funny how we have the North Central dock, and Steve would be, Skye's up, move it in. And they knew exactly where to
check it off. There you go.
And she was our first to get her advanced title rather quickly, because she was consistently on the mark.
Yeah. She's funny with that.
She was so funny with that. Yeah. But, that doing it her way, I still see her with it another time up in the Finger Lakes when it was so hot and we were competing for a leg for her novice, and it was really hot in the afternoon, and she was perfectly healing. Perfect. We were doing perfect, and we were doing the off lead healing, and we had to make a turn by the ring gate, and the judge said, right turn. I turned right. Skye walked out, went under the tent, laid down in the shade, and said, I'm done. And the judge laughed. Of course, I'm mortified and said, she's got the right idea. So, you know, she really, she knew what she wanted, and she was so willing to work with us, but she was going to do it her way. And, you know, really for myself, that was a learning experience, especially in competition, to go, I have to understand where she's coming from, and that she knows what she wants and what she can do, and she's doing it in her best way, and accepting that. And that really has carried through for me personally in all of our dogs, and in placing our puppies with the families that, you know, that puppy matching, that, you know, they have to find their way, and then you have to accept that way, you know, and you can tweak it, but you have to go, but that's who they are.
Right. Exactly. She was wicked smart.
Oh,
I mean, I remember describing her to people as, you could literally give her a 2-sentence command, you know, go into the living room and get your red ball. And she knew, like, she understood that. She always amazed me how smart she was. You know,
well, we have video of this when we were trying to do the demonstration of touch.
Oh, yeah.
And how we transitioned that.
Move out of my way.
And Tracker was in his flamboyant, you know, touch, and he's flinging himself around to touch my hand. And Skye's really, and then touch the door to close the door. And it was Tracker's turn, and he's like, what? And Skye's like, really? Close it. She did it, like, really, Tracker.
She would do that when you were doing the group trainings, like she would be like, pick me, I know how to do it, and she just always, and if somebody didn't get it like that, like somebody was learning, or like
it's mostly Tracker
fooling around, she would be like, this is how you do it, like, stop that, you know. It's crazy.